Hello and welcome to Grid Formation Racing. On today's video we're going to be speaking about Mercedes mid-season review and season predictions. Now if you watched my video from yesterday, it sort of lets the cat out of the bag a little bit and talks about Bottas being re-signed with Mercedes for next season and Ocon being switching over to Renault. It's kind of how I saw it happening. However, I'll go into a little bit more detail about what I think is gonna happen. There's two schools of thought on Mercedes this year, and especially with Bottas. So one school thinks you gotta get rid of him. He's leaving points on the table, and that's gonna hurt Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. And the other school is he's not doing that bad. And what would you expect from another driver, especially if it's Ocon? And I'm with that school. I think Mercedes doesn't want to disrupt what they have. They are running away this season with the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship, and I think the dynamics of those two is really a good thing, and I don't think they want to disrupt that. This is what I mean by that. You have your starting, or your first driver, Hamilton, and then you have whoever else is going to be driving with him. And I sort of look at it as a goalkeeper. You don't want two starting goalies. You want a starting goalie, and then you want your backup goalie. And not only is Lewis Hamilton a starting goalie, he is arguably the best driver of all time if he continues to win these world championships with Mercedes. So you can't bring, in my opinion, another starting goalie. You can't bring in Vettel. You can't bring in you can't bring in other championship drivers that have been there, done that. You also don't want a young up-and-comer like Verstappen or like a Charles Leclerc like Ferrari has, how they've sort of gone that direction with the youth. I think it's important to Mercedes that they continue to win with Lewis Hamilton, because at the end of the day, when you're looking at the record books, I believe they want him to overtake Schumacher in a Mercedes car. I think it's important to them that when you're reading those history books, you're going to see Mercedes with those records. So I believe they don't want to disrupt what's going on. And I also don't think they want to bring in a Max Verstappen type driver or Ocon to compete with Hamilton. They're going to say that they don't want that, but that's just my opinion. So, I mean, head-to-head, we'll start reviewing some of the head-to-head stats. It looks worse than I think it actually is. So, for example, you have poles 7.5. I think that's a good indication that Bottas is actually doing fairly well. However, Hamilton for sure is, I mean, he comes when it counts, especially on Monaco. I remember that one specifically because if you sit in pole, you're typically you're going to win. Next, we're going to talk about races. Lewis Hamilton's wiping the floor with him. He is what am I at here? 9.3, and I mean he's just a better driver. He's driving with phenomenal pace. He's getting everything out of that car, and there's no question about it. Hamilton is cleaning the floor with him. For podiums, though, this is when things start getting a little interesting, right? Because for podiums, you have 10-9. So people keep talking about Bottas leaving points on the table. I don't see it that way. I think he has a couple fourth place finishes as well. And Max Verstappen or Leclerc are who are getting those points. So I don't think he's just leaving them on the table like people suggest. The points, again, 250 to 188. It's, again, Lewis Hamilton is cleaning the floor. But when you look into it deeper, there's other things to consider. So, for example, I believe it was the first 4 races, Mercedes finished 1-2. Bottas had 2 wins, and Hamilton had it was 2-2, and then it started to change. So and then you go to Spain, and then this is when Hamilton starts to go on a roll. So Spain, Monaco, Canada, and then France. He wins, I believe, 4 in a row. But Bottas still had 3 second place finishes and a 4th in Canada. Now, I look at that also interestingly enough because Hamilton should not have won Canada, in my opinion, and then the Mercedes would have been split by a Ferrari. So it would have been Ferrari, Mercedes. I can't remember if it was Max Verstappen. I think it was Vettel. No, anyways, I can't remember. And then Bottas was in 4th. So it would have been split, and I don't think he's missing the pace like people think. Because then that happened again in Austria, but Lewis Hamilton obviously finished 2nd, and then Bottas had a 4th place. So I guess in theory he's leaving points on the table, but he's not doing like a Gasly where he's 6th, 7th. I think he's doing his job with what Mercedes wants. Again, I'm going to sort of go over some key points here, but I don't think Mercedes wants to disrupt the team. I think they want to go for those records. And I think they're happy with the way things are going. So for basically my prediction for next year is that they will keep Bottas in the seat. They want to continue to go for these records with the two of them, keep Lewis Hamilton happy, and just go for it. If he really falls off, I can see them switching it up. Now, I think Hamilton's contract is up after 2020. I think they have him till. But I think he'll re-sign with Mercedes at that point because he doesn't really have anything else to drive for other than records. He's done everything in the game, world championships, he's won everything. So other than records, I can't see him leaving Mercedes. It doesn't make any sense. So I think Mercedes will play this out for the foreseeable future and just keep Lewis happy. I'm not saying they won't ever replace Bottas if he starts really stinking the bed, but as long as he's getting those points and they're winning the Constructors' Championship along with the Drivers' Championship, I think they're all going to be happy. I think Toto Wolff will come out and he'll spew this stuff, but I think he's just, keep everyone on their toes and keep everyone driving well. So I look forward to the future, not the future, but the upcoming races, the second half of the season, because it's going to be more challenging for Mercedes. I don't think it's going to come as easy. I still think they're going to do very well, but I believe they're going to be challenged more by Red Bull with Verstappen and Ferrari, especially in the next 2 races. So I'm hoping for a little bit more of a mix-up, but it's been a great season so far for Mercedes and just overall for F1. So yeah, those are how I think it's going to play out, and I look forward to it. Don't forget to comment down below, subscribe, and share this video. Grid Formation Racing.